Hey folks, Joe Baker here with the Edit Bay. Have you ever started a project and days later been ready to chuck your computer out the window of a tall building? Stick around and I'll give you a few tips on how to get through that workflow. So I thought it'd be cute and good practice to shoot a quick video that I could circulate on Facebook and other social networking sites of my daughter wishing everybody happy Halloween. Let's take a look at what we ended up with.
It's okay, Mookie. I'll keep you safe.
So before I get into detail on all the challenges that I ran into with this particular project, I will say this. You'll save yourself a lot of grief if you just go into every project expecting to run into issues. It's just part of the process. Part of your post-production pipeline is going to be problem solving. So what happened with this particular video, in fact, let's go ahead and talk about what went right with this video. It is a horror type tone, and so as you can see, she turns into this crazy demon looking thing, and then we just have a title card at the very end. So with the horror theme in mind, we deliberately put some thought into how we lit the scene. So this is one of the things that I would say was successful. We turned off all the lights. This is really just one light that I have low over here. This is just a camera mount light, 60 bucks on Amazon, pretty cheap. There was a laptop on in the background kind of facing the wall, which I deliberately left on because it kind of gave, a blue light and it flickered. So it was kind of believable that she was probably watching TV or something like that. So that went well. And of course, the light being low kind of gives this campfire, flashlight under the chin look to it. We're casting some shadows over here, got the chin lit up and, some shadows over here by the eye socket and the hair. So that was one of the things that went well. Another thing that worked out really well was costuming. This actually, this looks like a dress, but this is actually a shirt that was given to my girlfriend by her sister, and it's got this, kind of gaudy print on it that looks like it could be wallpaper in a Venetian home. So I thought that would be, fitting for this particular type of shot. Where things went wrong was with the VFX. Now, my initial thought was to distort her face with the Liquify tool and just put all of those adjustments on an adjustment layer and parent it to a null after tracking her face. What I didn't realize was, and I'll switch over to After Effects right here, is the Liquify tool is, the Liquify effect is an effect that has its own set of tools. And so if you go to Distort, come down here to Liquify, I'll show you what the tool looks like. And if you're familiar with Photoshop, it operates in pretty much the same way. The problem is the majority of these parameters are not keyframeable. So although we've got the distortion mesh, distortion percentage, that is keyframeable, so you can turn the effect on and off. But each individual tool is not keyframeable. So it's not like a lens flare where you can simply parent the XY coordinates to a null or to a light. Things have to be done a little bit differently. And if you go to Video Copilot's website, Andrew Kramer has a tutorial on applying this very technique, and he does what I can just only consider a workaround. And if you look at the tutorial, you should definitely check it out, by the way. He's got some great tips in there. He's using such an old version of After Effects that I just figured, well, this is a pretty old tutorial. After Effects has been updated, and of course, if you've got the Creative Cloud version, it just stands to reason that there would be tools in there and an easier way of doing things than he demonstrated in this particular tutorial. Unfortunately, I was not able to find that. In fact, if you have a better way of doing it, please add a comment to the box below because I'm interested in seeing. What I ended up doing was going back into After Effects and following his tutorial almost step by step, which is where I ran into my second problem. The problem is I shot this in 4K and I was trying to cut it in a 1080p comp. And so when I was trying to apply some of the techniques that Kramer was talking about, it just wasn't working. And I think it had to do with the comp sizes and the fact that I had nested comps. So I ended up just cutting the entire thing in 4K, in a 4K comp, and just kind of following his steps step by step. Anyway, I wanted to share some of the challenges that I ran into with this particular project, really just to serve as a reminder that everybody runs into these issues with pretty much every project. It happens in Hollywood all the time. They end up having to do expensive reshoots, and it's just part of the game. It's the nature of the beast. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. I teach video production for an after-school program. Issues arise all the time, and I think what makes a good VFX artist and a good editor is problem-solving skills. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave it in the box below, and I'll see you next time.